Yo, what is up, guys? Today we are going to be talking about UFC Fight Night Santos versus Teixeira. Now, currently, there are 10 pro MMA bouts on this card. We have 5 prelim bouts and 5 main card bouts. There was supposed to be a lot more bouts. Arnold Allen was supposed to fight Jeremy Stephens, but Jeremy Stephens ended up getting injured. Felipe Lins was supposed to fight Dontel Mays, but Lins ended up getting injured. Jack Shore was supposed to fight Khalid Taha, but Jack Shore ended up getting injured. So Khalid Taha is going to be taking on Rayoni Barcelos. And then Diego Ferreira was supposed to fight Drew Dober, but Diego Ferreira ended up leaving that fight. And then lastly, Gustavo Lopez was supposed to fight Felipe Colares, but Colares ended up getting COVID, so that fight got canceled as well. So there was actually supposed to be 14 pro MMA bouts on this fight card, but now there is only 10. Now, for the first fight of the night, we have Max Griffin taking on Ramiz Abrahimash. Now, this fight is pretty good. It is a welterweight bout. Max Griffin, he is 1-5 in his last 5 bouts, losing to Curtis Melender, then Thiago Alves by split decision, coming back with a unanimous decision win over Zalim Imadaev, and then losing 2 decisions to Alex Moreno by unanimous decision, and Alex Oliveira by split decision. He's looking to come back against Ramiz Abrahimash, who is making his debut in this fight. I mean, Abrahimash, he does have 2 wins inside the LFA. Sorry, 4 wins inside the LFA. He also does have 2 losses in the LFA by unanimous decision. Honestly, both of these fighters can definitely do good on the feet. Max Griffin is just a little bit better in the striking game. Ramiz Abrahimash is a little bit better on the grappling side of things. But I do think if Max Griffin can keep this fight on the feet, I think he has no problem winning this fight by unanimous decision. In the second fight of the night, we have Darren Elkins taking on Eduardo Garagori. This is a featherweight bout. Now, I am very hyped on this fight. Darren Elkins is looking to come back after a 4-fight losing streak. Now, the 4-fight losing streak, it was against a very good competition. Alexander Volkanovski, Ricardo Lamas, Ryan Hall, and Nate Landwehr. Before those 4 losses, he was on an absolute tear in the featherweight division. With 6 straight wins over Robert Whiteford, Chas Skelly, Giotto Pepe, Mirsad Bektik, Dennis Bermudez, and Michael Johnson. But then he lost that fight to Alexander Volkanovski. He is looking to come back with a nice decision win over Eduardo Garagori. Eduardo Garagori, on the other hand, I mean, he has had 2 fights inside the UFC. He won his first fight by unanimous decision, and then ended up fighting Ricardo Ramos, where he ended up losing by first-round rear naked choke submission. This fight should be very, very interesting. Eduardo Garagori, he is a very good submission guy. Darren Elkins, a little bit better on the ground. And honestly, on the feet, it's going to be pretty similar. Very close fight, I have to say. But Darren Elkins has so much experience against top-tier competition, even fighting the current featherweight champion in Alexander Volkanovski. I think Darren Elkins is going to use his veteran status to win this fight by unanimous decision. He's just been in the sport for way too long. He is still a top 25 featherweight. I think Darren Elkins will win this fight by unanimous decision. The next fight we have, this one is a pretty good one. We have Alexander Romanov, who's coming in and fighting Marcos Rogerio De Lima. Now, Alexander Romanov, guys, I am absolutely hyped on this guy. He is 12-0. Now, he only has 1 fight inside the UFC, which he won by second-round arm triangle choke submission against Roque Martinez from absolute domination. Now, outside the UFC, it was just first-round rear naked choke, third-round rear naked choke, first-round rear naked choke, first-round KO, first-round submission, first-round KO, first-round KO, first-round submission, third-round KO, first-round TKO. He just dominates. Literally every single one of his fights has ended in a finish. Marcos Rogerio De Lima, he's 35 years old, pretty old fighter. He is fighting an American top team, has a lot of skills. These guys have similar heights, similar reach. But Alexander Romanov is going to go out there and absolutely dominate. I'm honestly not sure how he's going to get the finish. I know he's going to win this fight by either first or second round knockout or first or second round submission. This dude is an absolute beast. I can't wait to see what he does next. Alexander Romanov by first or second round KO or submission. Now, for our next fight, we have Trevin Giles taking on Bavon Lewis at middleweight. Now, this fight is probably the closest fight on this fight card. Trevin Giles 12-2. His only 2 losses coming inside the UFC against pretty good competition. I mean, Zach Cummings and Gerald Meerschaert. He does have 3 wins inside the UFC against James Bogdanovic and Antonio Bragonero and James Cross by split decision. He was supposed to fight Jun Young Park back in August, and he was supposed to fight Kevin Holland back in August. Both of those fights fell through, and now he's fighting Bavon Lewis. Now, if you look at those betting odds for this fight, it's very, very close. -105 for Trevin Giles, -120 for Bavon Lewis. Super, super duper close fight. Now, Bavon Lewis, he definitely has the advantage when it comes to height and reach. He is 6 foot 3 inches tall and has a 79-inch reach. Now, if you look at those Tapology predictions, on the other hand, 67% are going Giles, mainly by decision. Some people are saying he's going to win by KO. 33% saying Lewis, mainly by decision. And some people saying he's going to win by KO. It is a very close fight. To be honest, I do think that height and reach advantage for Bavon Lewis is going to play a huge factor in this fight, and that is why he is a slight favorite on the betting odds, and that is why I pick him to win this fight by unanimous decision. The next fight we have on this fight card is a prelim bout. The last prelim bout, we have Giga Chikadze coming back against Jamie Simmons. Now, Giga Chikadze, he just came off an absolutely amazing win over Omar Morales. He is undefeated inside the UFC with decision wins over Brandon Davis, Jamal Emmers, Erwin Rivera, and Omar Morales. He is taking on Jamie Simmons in this one. Jamie Simmons, he is 7-2. His only 2 losses coming to Donnie Simpson by submission and Jake Childers in the LFA 70 by first round KO. I really think Giga Chikadze is going to go out there and go for a knockout, and I do think he'll get it in the second round. Alright, so that is it for the prelims. I have Giga Chikadze winning, I have Bavon Lewis winning, I have Alexander Romanov winning, I have Darren Elkins winning, and then I have Max Griffin winning. And that leads us to our main card. Now, for the first fight on the main card, we have Claudia Gadelha versus someone I don't really know how to pronounce her name very well, but I think Xing Yang, I'm not sure, I'm sorry. But it is a women's strawweight bout. Claudia Gadelha is the 5th best strawweight in the world. Yan is the 9th best strawweight in the world. Yan is a slight favorite to win this fight at -140. Claudia Gadelha +115. They're both similar age, similar height, and similar reach. Now, the thing that's going to play a huge factor, literally every single fight, you see Yan go out there. She's looking for a knockout, but she always wins her fights by unanimous decision. Look at her UFC resume. Unanimous decision over Kaylin Kiran, unanimous decision over Viviane Pereira, unanimous decision over Shiri Kondo, unanimous decision over Angela Hill, unanimous decision over Carolina Kowalkiewicz. She's just a decision machine. Claudia Gadelha, on the other hand, she is on a 2-fight winning streak over Randa Marcos and Angela Hill. But in that Angela Hill bout, I honestly thought she lost that fight. It was a very close split decision win for her. But Yan, I mean, she absolutely dominated Angela Hill when they fought. So I think she'll do the same against Claudia Gadelha and break into that top 5. So I have Yan winning that fight by unanimous decision. Alright, the next fight we have is a middleweight bout. This is a very, very, very good fight between Ian Hynish and Brendan Allen. This could honestly be a co-main event. This is a very, very good fight. It is also a very close fight. We have the 15th ranked middleweight Ian Hynish, who is 32 years old, 5 foot 11 inches tall, has a 72-inch reach. Brendan Allen, 24 years old, much younger, has a 6 foot 2 inch height, which is 3 inches taller, and has a 77-inch reach, which is 5 inches longer. He's a slight favorite at -130, Ian Hynish +110. The Tapology predictions, out of 871 votes, 78% going Allen, mainly by mainly by decision. Some people think he's going to win the fight by decision. 22% are saying Hynish is going to win by decision. Honestly, Brendan Allen is going to go out there and try to take you down. Do what he did in his last fight against Kyle Dawkins. But I think this time it's going to be a little bit tougher. But I still think he can control Ian Hynish on the ground. Keep Ian Hynish off the feet, where he definitely has the power advantage there. Honestly, I do think Brendan Allen will get this fight going all the way, the whole 3 rounds, and win this fight by unanimous decision. The next fight we have is a bantamweight bout. We have Rahoni Barcelos versus Khalid Taha. Now this is a bantamweight bout, like I said. Raoni Barcelos, 15-1. He is 35.5 years old. Khalid Taha, 13-2. He is 27.5 years old. Now Raoni Barcelos, he has 4 fights inside the UFC against Kurt Hobla, which he won by third round KO. He had an Ultimate Fighter 28 fight against Chris Gutierrez, which he won by second round rear naked choke submission. And then in his last 2 fights, got a second round TKO over Carlos Huachin and a unanimous decision win over Said Nurmagomedov. He was supposed to fight Cody Stamann back in March. That fight kind of fell through, so he's coming in on short notice to fight Khalid Taha. Now, Khalid Taha, he's had a little bit of a tough time inside the UFC with a unanimous decision loss to Nad Narimani and then a first-round KO over Boston Salmon. And then he ended up fighting Bruno Silva, which he got a third-round arm triangle choke submission over. But that fight ended up turning into a no contest. I'm not really sure why. Honestly, the thing that's going to play a huge factor in this fight is Raoni Barcelos' submission game. Now, if this fight stays on the feet, Khalid Taha definitely has the power advantage and can definitely knock out Raoni Barcelos. But I definitely think Raoni Barcelos, before he even gets touched, will bring this fight to the ground. And go for submission after submission after submission, just like we saw Jimmy Flick do on the Contender Series a couple months ago. Raoni Barcelos is honestly going to just dominate the whole fight on the ground. I'm not sure if he's going to get a submission. If he does, it'll have to be in the first round. If he doesn't get that submission in the first round, I think he'll get the win by unanimous decision. Alright, now that brings us to our co-main event of the evening. We have Andrei Arlovski taking on a Tanner Boser at heavyweight. Former champion taking on Tanner Boser. This should be a very good bout. Tanner Boser is obviously going to go out there and try to get a knockout to propel his career, potentially get a top 10 opponent in his next fight. Andrei Arlovski's he's had a pretty up and down last couple of years. He ended up beating Junior Albini back in 2017, then Stefan Struve. Then it went on a 3-fight losing streak to Tai Tuivasa, Shamil Abdurrahimov, and Augusto Sakai, all by decision. Came back with a decision win over Ben Rothwell, and then got a first-round KO loss to Jairzinho Rosenstruik, and got a unanimous decision win to Felipe Lins. A couple months ago, Tanner Boser, on the other hand, his only loss inside the UFC was against an absolute beast who is actually ranked higher than Andrei Arlovski. But Tanner Boser has beaten 3 of his opponents inside the UFC, and Daniel Splits by unanimous decision, Felipe Lins by first-round KO, and Rafael Pessoa by second-round KO. Tanner Boser is going to be using his power in this fight and try to get a knockout in the first round. It's definitely possible that he gets a knockout in this first round. He goes out there and starts swinging. I'm kind of predicting he's going to get it in the second round. It's very likely he could get it in the first round, but I'm predicting a second-round knockout for Tanner Boser in this fight. Alright, now that brings us to the main event of the evening between Thiago Santos and Glover Teixeira. Now, Glover Teixeira is currently ranked 3rd at light heavyweight worldwide. Thiago Santos is ranked 4th. So they're neck and neck on the light heavyweight scale. Honestly, whoever wins this fight is either going to fight Jan Blachowicz for the belt or fight Israel Adesanya if they ever make that fight between Israel Adesanya and Jan Blachowicz. So whoever wins this fight can potentially fight an absolute beast in Israel Adesanya for the light heavyweight bout if Israel Adesanya actually beats Jan Blachowicz. So this fight, it really means everything to whoever wins this one. Thiago Santos is coming off of a loss to John Jones, but it was by split decision. He was the closest person to ever beat John Jones. Glover Teixeira, on the other hand, he is on a 4-fight win streak. His loss before that was to Corey Anderson, an absolute beast. And he came back with a first-round submission over Carl Robertson, a second-round submission over Ian Cutelaba, a split decision over Nikita Krylov, and then most recently an absolute domination in a main event over Anthony Smith. I'm sorry, I don't think that's going to happen in this fight against Thiago Santos. Thiago Santos is just too good on the feet. He's not going to let Glover Teixeira take him down and ground and pound him for 5 straight rounds and knock him out. Thiago Santos is going to keep this fight on the feet, and I have no problem thinking Thiago Santos will win this fight by knockout in one of the first 3 rounds. Alright. This has been a very fun video. I have Thiago Santos winning. I have Tanner Boser winning. I have Raoni Barcelos winning. I have Brendan Allen winning. I have Jan winning. I have Giga Chikadze winning. I have Bavon Lewis winning. I have Alexander Romanov winning, I have Darren Elkins winning, and I have Max Griffin winning. This should be a very good fight card. 10 MMA bouts. This should be absolutely amazing. Make sure you guys subscribe to this YouTube channel because we're posting content every single day. Make sure to subscribe, like this video. I'm out of here.